See if I can get some hero footage going. Robin Hood, a heck of a movie. Haves and have-nots. Sean is an asshole. Fremont Street, St. Patrick's Day. I like fun. It's very interesting too. Good lord, I gotta look this up. This is really bad if it's true. It's like in 2020 though. I don't know. I guess Austin St. John was from Austin, New Mexico. Oh lord. Oh lord. This is so bad. I'm gonna share this, I guess. Oh wow, this is pretty bad. Oh lord. Oh, there goes the channel. I gotta talk to my friend about this. I was gonna watch MLW, but this is very what the fuck. So I'm pretty sure I'll post this near me. Okay, over here, damn background. I'm freaking old, so I've lost my mind pretty bad too. But this is some crazy shit. He's Lord Zed now. Oh my god. And this is a guy who used to work for the military and stuff. He does this on the Jim Cummings podcast. Why did he think this was a good idea? Okay, I don't know. It doesn't have to be a good idea, but I don't think it's a It's a lame idea. It's not profitable either. Maybe he really hates Power Rangers. I don't know. Maybe he wants the fans to leave him alone. I have no idea. Oh Lord. I don't know. Like, I guess they weren't union. I don't know if they paid Social Security. He probably has no retirement. Probably 10 years away from retirement. Oh Lordy Lord. Maybe I shouldn't even call myself Pure Productions. Triple Zoom In Productions. Tomorrow is the Rangers Owls game. He killed 70 to 85 million people. Oh Lord. Why the heck would? Why the heck not? Might as well hear the quote.
Days as far back as I can.
am I going to put myself through? I'm probably going to start crying soon. Jeez. This probably should be my YouTube even. Probably mute it. Never mind. Do you want steroids? Cool. You're totally impressed. The language. Drew Cummings says, wow. Take what you can. Bruce Lee, leader. Course. Drew Cummings called him a nice guy. It can't be Chinese. You're going to be corrected on it. Lord, I need to change my name. I wonder if Disney hired him. I'm gonna go to that guy's line. Listen to say Hitler was a good guy. They might have to do some jetting soon with Austin St. John. Hire a publicist, yes. You thought the Power Rangers franchise was so useless before. Wait till you get a load of this. It's only March. Oh Lord.
What's going on?
I might as well also include a disclaimer that I did meet him. He was very close to me. We'll play it now.
And then, give it a happy drug. It's kind of complicated for me to take all these questions, so you got to sound off.
Might as well watch MLW.
So he says, Jason, what is your favorite episode of all time? Well, I guess I did about 106 episodes between Red Ranger, Gold Ranger, Forever Red, a couple documentaries. Probably my favorite would be the original unaired pilot.
I didn't mean to say Austin St. John.
I get a lot of surprise looks when I say that. Really, it's my favorite because I wasn't an actor. that's where Jason was born. That's where
doesn't work. I've had a really busy work week.
And for the first time, got to breathe life into it. So that's where it all started for me. And the other actors, they were all actors. I knew nothing about acting. I was clearly a martial artist. I was clearly a teenager, and I clearly had attitude, which means I was clearly typecast. They didn't hire me because I could act. So all these guys are like, hey Austin, hey, look, the camera's over there. And when you say your line, you should probably face the camera. That's a good idea. I'm like, oh yeah, hey, thanks, that's a good idea. Yeah, I'll do that. To this day, I'm like, oh my God, I live in front of cameras. But yeah, I can tell. He's like, sorry, wait, could you say that one more time? I didn't quite get that. Yeah, okay. So I've learned to live with it, but that's all right. I get asked that question a lot. I'll tell you something you guys probably didn't know. Do you guys know what my character's name originally was before the show aired? What would you say if I told you my character's name was supposed to be Victor? Sounds like a soap opera, doesn't it?
So move on. A little sleep.
I'll be here as Power Ranger turns.
See what else we want.
You know what I mean? Like, how cheesy would that have been, right? So, Jason, that's a good strong name. I like your name. I can appreciate that. One of the other things you probably didn't know, what the show was originally called before we called it Power Rangers? Phantoms. The audition I went out for was for Phantoms, for a teenage guy with attitude of martial arts for a character named Victor, with like 5,000 other guys. It was ridiculous. So anyway, so that was just kind of a sidebar, man. What's your question? So he says, when I first got the part there, I realized how big it was going to be. I didn't even think the thing was going to get picked up. Because we had to make a pilot. So the pilot goes to Fox, and Fox has to take a look at it. You know, it's good, it's no good. In this instance, we all thought, we're like, this is the cheesiest thing we have ever seen. There's no way this is going anywhere. And as cheesy as it was, we had a blast doing it, you know? So, no, I had no idea. And I sure didn't know I'd be here 20 years later talking to you guys about this. Now you've all grown up. Last time I saw most of you guys, you were hiding behind mom's leg, you know, too afraid to talk to me. And, you know, I stepped out of the light for like 20 years. I went on and became a medic. I spent time in the Middle East as a medic. I mean, I've been all over the world, worked in fire departments, stuff like that. Thank you. So I had no idea that you guys would keep this thing alive for so long. And make no mistake about it, we didn't keep it alive. We were actors. You guys, you're still here. You're still a part of this. You guys are what's keeping us alive. So you should give yourself a round of applause, right? You guys made, and you guys are picky. Fans are very, very picky. You guys know what you like, you know what you're going to support, and you know what you don't like. And there aren't many series that have crossed so many generations. I mean, today in the house, we got Star Trek and Star Wars, right? We're talking 6 generations with those guys. Power Rangers, we are now crossing our 4th generation. You guys make this happen. Not every TV series that comes on is going to last 4 generations. Some of the biggest ones out there right now, in 10 years, people will forget were ever on TV. You know what I mean? So, and here we are, 20 years later, looking at Rita and Zed right now. That's kind of creeping me out, right? I don't know if I should mourn, forget the Tyrannosaurus. But I know she's going to have a headache when I'm done. You know what I mean? So, and I couldn't believe I came back later and I saw these two were in a mobile home on the moon. Like, you guys, what happened? Did you get married? No, they didn't. Did they really? God, that would be an ugly baby. Oh, could you imagine? And not you two in particular. I just mean, could you imagine Rita and Zed?
Poor souls. Poor souls.
That's nightmares. I can't unsee that now that I came up with that thought. What's up, man?
How did it feel coming back as a badass gold ranger?
I'm not even sure if I can repeat that. The PC version was, how did it feel coming back as the bad Gold Ranger? And there was a word in there, it was like ASS. It was pretty awesome. It was pretty awesome. And you know, the Red Ranger and the Gold Ranger, they were very different images for me. When they brought me on as the Red Ranger, they were like, we want you to be this powerhouse. We want you to, you know, be loud and full of bravado and you know, be this just giant, energetic being. And I was like, no. My father and my mother, first police officer ever in Roswell, New Mexico in the 70s. Her fellow cops tried to have her killed because they didn't want a woman in the police department. My mother was a leader. My father was enlisted in the Marine Corps, got out, finished college, came back as an officer in the Marine Corps, 20 years serving his country. My brother, United States Marine Corps. My grandfather, Army pilot. I spent my time, fire medic, combat medic, SWAT medicine. We believe in public service. And all of these people,
We go
none of them were
upload
braggadocious. None of them had big mouths.
sports updates.
They didn't run around talking about how great they were. But when anyone in my family walks into a room, people pay attention. That's called commanding respect without having to run off at the mouth. And that was what I wanted Jason to be. I wanted him to be always his team first, soft-spoken like I was every time in the juice bar. We always had a good time, smile on my face. Everything was cool until it was time to get down. And then came the Tyrannosaurus. And you could see the shift. It's morphin' time. I would hit it's morphin' time. I would hit Tyrannosaurus. I would hit back to action. When I delivered those lines, that's when Jason he wasn't playing around anymore. That's when the power was supposed to be there. So the Red Ranger was very low-key. He was the walk softly, carry a big stick. He was going to be your friend until you messed up. Then he was going to give you the opportunity to fix it, and then he was going to beat you down. The Gold Ranger, he was kind of like, what's that going on? Oh, the other 5 are getting their butts kicked? All right, man, let me finish up the sandwich. I'll be right there. You know what I'm saying? And then he rolled in a pyramid. A pyramid, right? Like, Giza was in the house. You know, he had his own theme song. He'd keep the Ferrari and the Tyrannosaurus just parked inside. Like, there was room for everybody. The Warrior Wheel, the Red Dragon, he parked them all inside, roll up in a pyramid, squash everybody and be like, deuces, roll out. You know? Like, you guys good? You good? You need medical attention? No, you good? All right, take a knee. I got this. And it was done. Somebody else told me, it was one of you guys, told me that my character is the only character in the history of the show that was never defeated. I didn't realize that. I wasn't really keeping track of all the butt I was kicking. You know, I was just busy kicking butt. Did I ever watch the Japanese version? I've seen bits and pieces of some of it, especially after I met Yuta. Are you guys on my Facebook or Twitter or Instagram? Yeah, I got a YouTube page, stuff like that. There's a video where I actually sat down at Power Morphicon and I got to meet Yuta, who, you guys know who Yuta is, right? Like Geki. He was like the first Red Ranger. And I had to ask him, right? You know, because humility's always been a big part of my life. And everybody always calls me the first Red Ranger. Maybe in the English-speaking world I am, but not really, not in the show. Number one was Yuta. And so I had to ask him, I'm like, Yuta, what number Red Ranger am I really? And we had this translator, and there's a bunch of us, you know, the Japanese stunt guys and some of the other Japanese actors from the original series. And it was just so cool to meet these guys, you know? They started it in Japan. And then we took it and we made our own iteration of it and breathed a new life into it. And he has to sit there and he leans over to his translator. And he's quiet, and I can tell he doesn't want to tell me. He's you know, everybody just kind of grins because they know that everybody in the world considers me the first one too. And he and I both know that's not the case, but here I was acknowledging he was the man. You know, it was born with him in Japan. I took it over to the rest of the world. And now the internet has got him out there everywhere anyway. And so I asked him, and he didn't want to tell me, kind of gets his grin, and he looks at me and goes, number 26. It's like, woo, that is a long way from number one. Like, you don't go into a race, you know, racing against all these cool people, be like, I made it number 26 in line. Yeah, you don't really brag on that. You're like, I was number 22. You know what I mean? So it was really cool to be with a man who was the first man to put on a suit. And like me, and this is one of the things that he and I discussed, he did his stunts.
I don't even know if he's being racist, but he's definitely like smart about it.
Now they don't let the Rangers do that anymore. That blew
or intellectual or whatever.
Like, what? What show is this? You can't call this what? You know, and I met some of the newer Rangers, and they're all amazing, man. I love them, but they're not fighting. My jaw dropped. I was like, how do you not fight the Power Rangers?
I don't even know what's the point of the podcast. It didn't really sound like articulate or anything.
A lot.
I should say
you know,
for
range time
with
stuff.
But I got the product stay.
So it was pretty crazy. Yeah, we wore the suit. All of us did. The first five. So the history, you know, everybody's like, oh, well, who was the sixth Ranger? It's like, well, actually, the sixth Ranger was Tweed. Because the first five on the unaired pilot, Audrey played Trinity. And then we picked up the first five for the series once the show began, and Tweed came in as the Yellow Ranger. She was number 6. The Green Ranger was number 7. So that's kind of that's how the show really went down. It was like, oh, the 6th Ranger. I was like, you mean number 7? Let's get it right. Because I'm 26, so what does that make them, like 30 something? I don't even know. So anyway, it's kind of comical, the numbers. I'm like, well, technically. And there's somebody out there, I'm sure, that's going to be like, well, actually, you're number 26.344 to the 500th degree divided by 10. But which may be the case. What's up, man? Anybody else got questions? Shoot, Gold Ranger. Hi, how are you, beautiful? How has coming back from the Middle East changed my perspective on being a public figure? You know, I sit next to some incredibly powerful men and women. I watch people put their lives in harm's way. I've been next to them when they've done it. It has forever changed my perspective on a lot of things. Number one, like what's important. Money, fame, that's not what makes this boy tick. I didn't become a paramedic, firefighter because I wanted to get rich. Never been rich. Maybe I never will be. If I do, that's great, but that's not my mission in life. Dollar bills don't drive this bus, you know? I'm more interested in what I leave behind when I leave this world, and that's two things. My name and my reputation. That's what I'm interested in making work every day. So it doesn't mean I can't make mistakes. I'm human, I make mistakes, right? What matters is, do I do my best not to make the same mistakes tomorrow? So that's what's important to me. That's kind of what's changed my perspective. I see people, you know, getting all hot and bothered over, well, he said the other day, I said Merry Christmas to somebody, and they're like, you should say Happy Holidays. Let me explain something to you, son. And everybody's like, ooh, you can't say this. Well, I believe in God. That's the way this boy rolls. And I'm not gonna hide it for anybody else. Now, that doesn't mean you can't believe in Allah, or you can't celebrate Eid al-Fitr, or whatever your holiday is, man. Happy Hanukkah, if that's your deal. But I'm not gonna be offended if that's your deal. So don't be offended if I'm talking about mine. I went overseas so that each of us can have our opinion and speak it freely without being judged. So that's how I roll. That's what's important. So what's up, man? What you got?
Yeah, is Power Rangers an influence in the Middle East, like it is in the Eastern and Western world?
I got nothing.
Is Power Rangers an influence in the Middle East?
Was Power Rangers in the Middle East?
Like an influence over there, right?
Well, I know, if I heard this correctly, I think he's asking me if the show aired in the Middle East.
Yeah, like an influence, yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, in Kuwait, they knew what it was. Dubai, they knew what it was. Iraq and Afghanistan, you know, I wasn't really signing autographs. I never talked about the show.
Power Rangers is not the most. Is Power Rangers not the most woke show ever?
I went to school, I was a bartender, I paid my way through 2 college degrees. You know, just the American dream. I have the ability to pick and choose what I'm going to do and the direction I'm going. So that's what I did. When I got to the Middle East, I wasn't there to be famous. I was there to patch up bullet holes and hopefully not get any of my own. And you know, I got banged up a few times on my own on some of my jobs. So anyway, you know, long story short, there were times like in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, when I would get out and I would get leave, where I could go and somebody would be like, hey, was that? But I also, a lot of times, I had a great big beard. I even shaved my head completely at one point. Another time, how many of you guys remember Mr. T? You know that mohawk he had? I did that. I was like, people were like, you look good. I was like, shut up, fool. What you talking about? You know, anyway, so I was just kind of living in the moment. But on occasion, I would get hit over there. Some of the best times, they'd be like, you know, I'd have a soldier, I'd be fixing him up, you know, something simple. Get his arm all patched up, put him in a sling, and then, you know, give him the happy drugs, and all of a sudden the pain calms down, and he'd be sitting there, and you'd be like...
I wonder what River Ranger cosplayers think. I guess it's a good thing they won't Rocky.
Damn. And that's all they say, you know? Other times, guys would figure it out, or other times I'd drop them off, you know, I'd get them to a hospital, we'd get them somewhere safe, we'd fly them out, and however we were getting them from point A to point B, and, you know, they'd be hurt, real hurt. And they wouldn't know who I was. I'm not telling people, I didn't care. That wasn't why I was there. And so I do my job, and then somehow the word would get back to them, you know, who patched them up. And they would come find me years later and be like, hey man, I want you to know I'm telling everybody in the world the Red Ranger saved my life. Those are some of the greatest moments I've had. But it's always a great thing because they could care less really that I saved their life. They're just excited to be back meeting me. I'm like, I'm just glad you're breathing, man. I remember what you looked like when you were all messed up. You don't remember that part. So I'm glad to see you standing here before me. That brings me joy. You know, the other day I was at a convention, and this mom, I watched her for 2 days. She was walking around in front of my desk, and she's like, she'd just look at me, and she wouldn't come up. You know, and I get stared at a lot sometimes. I feel like I'm in a fishbowl. You know, people just like, and they're looking. I'm like, what's up? Come on over there. Like, and then, you know, hiding behind a castle, moving behind a rock or something. So, and you know, for 3 days she did this. And I was like, at some point she's gonna come say hello. I'm looking forward to hearing her story because I could tell she had something on her mind, but I didn't know what it was. Finally, the 3rd day she comes over, and she's like, I wanted to wait for the lines to die down because I wanted to share something from my son, and I wanted to share something from me. And she immediately, tears in her eyes, I could tell this was tough. She says, my son was a United States Marine, and he served overseas. And I want you to know that he came home to me because you saved his life. And I just, still kind of chokes me up. And she said, so he wanted me to say thank you. He wasn't in the area. And she said, and then I want to say thank you as a mother. And, you know, those moments, boys that I was with in the Middle East, Power Rangers wasn't what was important. It was about us keeping each other alive and safe, you know? So, powerful moments like that come to me because I'm back out now for the show. But I'm running into other brothers that I've served with. They're coming up and saying hello, shaking my hand. They never knew I was famous. And then they come up and they see me at a show and they're like, holy crap, you never said anything. I was like, it wasn't important. I told you when to do your push-ups. And then I did them right next to you, didn't I? That's what mattered. Now we're here and we can talk about this because this is what matters. You know what I'm saying? So here, there, it's been a little bit of everywhere. But just like when I was over there, that's what I was doing. I'm here now with you because this is what's important. This is what I'm doing. So thank you for having me, man. You guys rock. Yeah, this is a question I hear a lot. You're asking me if I'm going to be in the new movie? I actually have 5 movies in the works. I also have a TV series. I'm developing an animated project. As for the new Power Rangers movie, I will tell you that I have had discussions. I will tell you at this particular moment, I have no contract. But who knows? I will tell you, as far as I know, that none of the original actors have a contract, though I know there's one that's running off in the mouth saying he does. Don't believe everything you read. Anyway, so I don't have a contract, but you know, maybe it will happen. If they offered me a well-written role, whether it was a cameo or a mentor or something like that, I would love to be a part of it. But the show would have to be union. And, you know, I think very soon, those of you that are on my Facebook page, it's just Austin St. John. You can see it's verified. It's the only one with a blue check mark. I'm probably going to put out a video congratulating the young guy that is going to be playing Jason, who's got my role. I'm gonna congratulate him, and if he has any questions, we'll be like, hey man, hit me up. I'd be happy to talk you through it, share what I can. But ultimately, I don't want to see him be me. I want to see him be himself. He needs to bring his own heart, because that's what I did. I brought my heart to the role. You know what I mean? I showed what I believed in. I want to see him do the same. That's where he's going to pay homage to the megalithic show that is Power Rangers today. The original cast, man, we brought our hearts to the show. We were friends, and you could see it on screen. We all had love, you know? And that's what we put out there. That's what we shared together. Color didn't matter, sex didn't matter, race didn't matter, none of it mattered. We were all there for each other every single day. And we meant it, and you can see it from here. And that's what I want to see these guys do in the new movie. I hope it's amazing. What's that? I have said everything I can say at this time. What's up? If I could describe 6 of my castmates in one word, well, I'd sum it up, man. They're all awesome. And if they weren't, the show wouldn't work for you guys. Each one of us, you know, each one of our characters, the original 5, number 6, when Tweet came in, we all brought something special to our roles. And, you know, we all fell in love with you guys. We saw you all when you were little bitty. And you can't look into the eyes of a 5-year-old and see the adoration and the love that's there and not be impacted. Not if you got a heart attack. I mean, how do you look a little kid in the eye? You don't know this little boy or little girl, and you look them in the eye, and there's just nothing but undisguised love and admiration for me or one of my castmates or all of us. The first time you see that, how many of you are parents? Anybody? Okay, then you look in your baby's eyes and you see that. But you're mom and dad, so am I. I'm dad. I see that and it melts my heart. I got to see that with you guys, and I wasn't your dad. And that was incredible. So each of us did that, and that's what made each of our characters awesome. So all of our characters rock. Was I ever injured on set? I mean, there were definitely a few times where I probably pulled a muscle or something, but I was pretty fortunate. I never had any major injuries, anything like that. I've been injured a lot in the martial arts, outside the set, but that's what young guys do. Start getting all buff and tough. You got to figure out who's best. Go get some busted up ribs and fingers and knuckles, but nothing major on set. He asked me what was my reaction when Trina died. When Tweet passed away, I wasn't aware of it. I was, again, I stepped away from the show. I wasn't on social media. I call them I Love Me pages. I've never really been into I Love Me pages. When I came back this last year and a half, everybody's like, you gotta have them. It's part of doing the job. So now I have I Love Me pages, but I'm still not, it doesn't make my world go round. So I missed when she passed away. I found out a long time later. It's funny you asked that. I was just texting David Yost, and I was trying to find out where they laid her to rest, so I could go visit her. But it hit hard. I was stunned. She was like a sister. I actually just picked up a new master. It's Master Leary, and he's out of Ohio. And he combines Kempo, K-E-M-P-O, along with Kung Fu. And probably here very soon, he and I are discussing taking somewhere between 30 and 50 people to China. We'll do 8 days. I think we're looking at 8 days right now. And 7 days, it's just going to be see the Great Wall, the Forbidden City, it'll be a tour, because you can't go all that way and not see that stuff. But one day, we are going to go train in a 2,000-year-old Shaolin temple with monks, with the original Shaolin monks. And I'm in the process of organizing that. I'll make announcements on it probably next year. Yeah. What's that? My reaction to, the fan film. You guys all, have you all seen this? The fan film that was out? Joseph, I'm hearing some cheers. Okay, how many of you liked it? Show of hands. Okay, all right. How many of you didn't like it? Okay. How many of you that liked it have kids? Okay. How many of you that didn't like it have kids? Wow, none. All right. So what you're saying is the kids don't matter. All right. That's horrible. I can't believe you said that. On my Facebook page, you know, there was all sorts of hype, man. It drove everybody nuts forever. And people were pounding me on my page. What's your response? What's your response? What's your response? And I can't get past the fact I'm just another guy. It still kind of blows my mind. Everybody wants my opinion. Not everybody, but a lot of people. So I still kind of just don't feel like my opinion should matter. You know, I'm just another brother. I put on my pants this morning just like everybody in this room. Those of you wearing dresses, I put on my dress the same way. So don't tell me about it. Anyway, so finally I was like, all right, let me watch this thing. I didn't even watch it for a long time. So I watched it, and I put up my professional opinion in a video on my YouTube and my Facebook page. And I basically said this: the director did an excellent job. The actors did an excellent job. Special effects were well done. The storyline was well written. I had no trouble following the story from beginning to end. I thought it overall was a really well put together production. Professional side. Personal side, holy crap. Right? I mean, Walter Jones, he's my boy. He plays that. He's my boy. 20 years. And I was watching his character snort coke and shoot people. I was like, what? What? I couldn't even believe it. You know, bullets are flat. They finally figured out how to kill me. They're like, don't tell him we're coming. Let's surround him with machine guns and open fire from a distance. Somebody finally figured it out. I was like, all right. Although they didn't get me in the Middle East. So, anyway, kind of cool. I thought it was well done, but I wouldn't let my son watch it, you know? I don't think I would hate for a child who doesn't know what Power Rangers is to go online and let that be his first vision of the show. Like that would, you know, that's not what it is. But just like, you know, the original Batman, you guys see the original Batman, that's all, you know, pow, bang, you see those old reruns? Okay, well look at what Batman is today, right? The Dark Knight. And it got all dark and creepy. I love it. You know what I mean? So you can go either way with it. You know what I mean? It's a good question. It's horrible. I never watched the show. You know, I think I've seen 3 of my own episodes. Just because again, like the I Love Me pages, I'm not that fond of looking at me. I gotta spend enough time, you know, just to try and shave. I don't even like that, obviously. I only shave half my neck, you know, from here down. So, coming back for Forever Red, I was in the fire department, the DC area, and I don't even know how they found me. Because it's not like I was talking to Chaim every day, you know, hey buddy, what's up? Because that's not how it is. And somehow they tracked me down. They're like, hey, would you love to come back and do this, you know, all the Red Rangers episode? Because you're the original. You should, you know, we'd like to have you back. I was like, okay, cool. You said all the Red Rangers. This is like an 02, I think they told her, or was it 06? I don't even remember. And they were like, well, yeah, you know, you come back with all the other Red Rangers and you kick butt and, you know, blah, 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 and it'll all be great. I was like, okay. How many other Red Rangers are there? I was thinking like 3, maybe 4. And they were like, well, there's been 11 at this time. I was like, I'm sorry, did you say 11? Is that an 11? 11, one woman, double hockey sticks, right? And they're like, yeah, I was like, holy cow. And I was like, well, what do you have in mind? And they told me, sent me the script, I read it over, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. And so I was there for like 2 days to do my portion of filming for that. And I got to meet all these really cool guys. And you know, some of them grew up watching me. I was like, damn. Woo, it's starting to feel a little bit old up here, let me tell you. But, you know, everybody was great. You know, the cast members, some of these guys, I'm not gonna say who, but there's this one younger guy, just, man, he had the best energy. He was just, you know, he was bouncing all the time. I was like, are you on crack? What's that? Or is that just a lot of Starbucks? How do you do that? You just, woosah. Did you see that, Bad Boys? Woosah, you know? But he was super excited. It was always great to be around him. And then we went and we did the big fight scenes, and I was looking at where everybody was fighting. I was like, all right, I gotta find some stuff. And I did some stuff that they filmed that actually didn't make it, because all of the guys that were there, most of us were really accomplished martial artists. So we all put together these huge fights, and they just couldn't put it all in. So I had like this generator I did this back tuck flip off of with a twist into a butterfly kick. And some of the other guys, Johnny Bosch, great martial artist, he had some stuff. He was like, yeah, do this. And then, you know, all the Southworth was doing some really cool stuff. And at the end, they were like, we just can't. This is going to be an hour-long episode. We just can't put it all in there. So they slimmed it all down, and we had fun. I still got one flip in there, I think, in the show. So, you know, it was a good time. It was great being back, seeing the guys, getting to relive it, and be a part of Forever Red. Because I am. I'm going to be Forever Red, you know? What you got? What? Do the putty men haunt my dreams? I have PTS Power Rangers. It's horrible. It wakes me up at night. I'd just be minding my own business. My wife would be laying there. I'd be like, Zordon! Oh, God. All right. You know, the phone will ring, and I'll be like, it's morphin' time! Walk around, check the windows, be like, hey, babe, you know, I'm gonna check the tires on the car, make sure the Tyrannosaurus is eating. You know, and I'm like, oh, never mind, it's cool. Feeding him was a bear. It was like 2 cars a day he could eat. And if he didn't, he was in a bad mood. You know, I don't want to mess with that. That too. When we were in the Zords, well, here's a heartbreaker for you. We were never in the Zords. That was all Japanese footage. And they figured out that if they cut it, had us do the voiceover work for it, they'd never have to film it again. All they had to do was bring us in the studio and have us say our lines, because you couldn't see our faces when we were in the Zords. So in fact, I've never even seen a Zord. Not even a fake one. Well, I mean, I've seen the toys, but there was never one on set for filming. Never saw it. It is life, right? Do I own my own action figure? You know, imagine being 18 years old and Jonathan Sikora comes down from stage. He's very heavy Israeli accent, and I'm probably doing a horrible Israeli accent, so bear with me. He's like, Austin, yes, I have to tell you, you have a toy now. And I was like, how did he know I still have toys in my closet at home? I didn't tell anybody that. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, so he's like, yes, look here, you see this? My first thought was he handed me this triangular box, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, this is the worst picture I've ever taken in my life. I hate that picture. You seen it on the toy, the little triangle box, right? It's got me with this part to the side, and I look like, you know, I just woke up. I was like, this is horrible. And, but, you know, at 18, here I am holding myself in my hands. Stop it. There's always somebody that's got to go down that road, right? Just chill out with the perversion. So, you know, here I am at 18, holding myself in my hand, looking at me, and I'm just like, stop. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's cool. That's really cool, you know? What 18-year-old has his own toy? And I was like, I kind of feel cool, you know? So I checked it out. I was like, yeah, I put it up on the mantle, and that was the only toy the show ever gave us. Or at least me. I don't know. Maybe the other guys got some stuff, but they probably stole it, or at least had to. So, yeah, that was about as close to my toy as I got. And since then, I've had some of the fans that have come up and been like, hey, man, I heard you didn't know anything. And they're like, here's a Gold Ranger, here's this, here's that. I was like, I didn't even know they made that. That is so cool. So I've had a good time with it. What else we got?